So I just took the leap, right? I had some money saved up, took the leap. I kid you not, 4 weeks later, signed my first client for $1,500 a month.
What's going on, guys? Andre Hagel Jr. here from ListKit and Client Ascension, back with another case study interview. I'm here with my man Isaac. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, Andre? How's it going, man?
Good, 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 good. I love the hat, bro. We're all swagged out
So
for Client Ascension.
prepped out.
And so I'm excited. We're looking good, and so let's share the good news with these guys as well. So what we're here to talk about today is how you scaled your cold email lead generation agency from $0, right, from scratch, all the way up to $12,000 a month, primarily through sending cold emails and using tools like ListKit. And so I want to learn more about what all went into it, and even just to get us started, bro. Like, how old are you?
So I'm 21. I had my 21st birthday in the beginning of the year in February. So relatively young, still in college, really getting started with everything. But yeah.
That's awesome, bro. So you're 21, you're still in college, you're not dropped out or anything like that?
Nah, so I considered it, but I play soccer, so I'm on scholarship and I graduate
Awesome,
early. So
dude.
I'm like, I'll just finish out.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. So you have a college scholarship. You're only 21 years old. And then I think you said around October of last year, you came across this cold email thing. You were interested in spinning up your own cold email lead generation agency. I think you got some of our courses like Cold Email Mastery
Yeah.
and whatnot. Join the ListKit community, sign up for ListKit. And here you are today with a 12K a month cold email lead generation agency, which is super impressive, bro. So I'm excited to dive in and share with the audience kind of what's gone into making your agency successful, and also just talk about cold email because there's a lot of talk out there now that cold email is dead or it's not working anymore. And I've been doing cold email for years at this point, and there's always changes within the industry, but as long as you're in the right groups and have access to the right education, it's always going to work for you. And so I want to talk about how it's worked for you. So tell us a little bit about your experience. Like, did you know what cold email was when you first joined, like Cold Email Mastery back in October, or was this all like very, very new to you? Like, tell us the start of your journey with this agency and cold email.
Yeah, no. So when I first started, I actually was a partner in an agency before. I call it an agency. It was really just like my first kind of venture. And the biggest issue was how do you get clients consistently? Because everyone likes to talk about referrals and like, but when you're starting from zero, like you don't have the credibility to get referrals. So you need a way to acquire clients that's going to be, consistent, but also affordable, right? Because you can't run paid ads either. So I got out of that, and then I came across Daniel's YouTube, and he was just talking. I think it was in an interview with somebody. It might have been Stick Talk, talking about like how he got started. He was like, "Yeah, I was just sending Gmail emails from my basement to these business owners," and he's like, "I was booking meetings and signing clients, and then I just got down the rabbit trail, learned more about client ascension, and then they actually had cold email mastery." And I reached out to Christian. I was like, "Is this worth it?" I just DM'd him on Instagram. Wasn't expecting an answer at all. He's like, "Yeah, bro, like 100%." Like, he's like, "If you do the steps and we'll be in there, you'll sign your first client within a month." And like, you don't know what you don't know. So I was like, "Well, I'm not sure." So I just took the leap, right? I had some money saved up, took the leap. I kid you not, 4 weeks later, signed my first client for $1,500 a month. And I was over the moon, but then, came to work and actually fulfilling the service and growing the newfound business, which ListKit came in huge. Almost every deal I've signed has came from ListKit's data. So being able to go through Cold Email Mastery, their course, and go step by step and just learn from, guys that have ran up a six-figure agency and now a newfound software company that gives you the data and fuel you need to sign high ticket clients. So yeah.
That's awesome, bro. And so in that 4 week period of time where you joined the course and then signed that first $1,500 client, like what were some of the things you did? Like, did you go to coaching calls? Did you binge watch a bunch of YouTube videos along with the course content? How did you learn to use ListKit? Like, what were all the action items you took to go from not knowing anything about cold email to actually signing your first client, like a big client, $1,500 a month retainer client for your agency? Like, for that to be the first client you signed from cold email, like that's huge, dude. So what actually went into that win outside of just joining the course and using ListKit to build a leads list?
Yeah, no. So I would say the biggest thing that outside of the course that helped me, get started and really just get that big first win was engaging, outside on things like X, YouTube, clients and ListKit, these guys have so many videos and resources out there on their own product and how to, build businesses as a whole. So I really just tried to pay attention and learn and watch out for, when Daniel or Andre and Christian and Dan would tweet and, take things that they're saying. Andre writes some really good threads. So I would take those threads and implement them. And, sure enough, they ended up working out and allowed me to kind of scale my agency.
That's exciting, bro. Yeah, that's exciting. Just being able to go and diversify where you're learning, not just being right there in that course, but also through the different social media channels that we have, right? So, I mean, dude, we've been doing cold email for a long time now, and that's all we talk about on my Twitter, on my YouTube, and all the courses that we sell. And so it's cool to hear how people kind of find us and what information they're subscribed to and how they go about actually implementing it. Because there's people that have been following us for a long time and still not taken the first step to getting started with sending their first cold email. And then there's people that discover us for the first time today and they have their cold email campaigns launched tomorrow, which I love those people, right? Like the fast
Yeah.
action takers that don't really think too much about is this going to work for me or not. It's like figure it out by actually implementing it and seeing for yourself. So I think that's awesome, bro. So like what were some of the early on lessons you learned about cold email that like goes into running a successful campaign? Because not only did you run cold email campaigns to get clients for your own agency, but that's also the service
Mhm.
you offer for your clients. And so like what were some early on lessons that you use now to implement in your campaigns and just make sure you're getting the best results possible?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing for me, and honestly, what still works for us to this day, for us and all our clients, is like being concise and to the point and getting straight to the value proposition that you have to offer. Because most of these business owners or the successful ones, their time is their most valuable asset. So you can't write them a 2 paragraph corporate email. So just being able to put what you have to offer in a really concise way that, conveys competence and even mitigates the risk. Like you'll always book meetings with cold email that way. And that's been, one of the biggest things for me is like, how can we put something in front of people that gets their attention, offers them value, isn't asking for something right away, and then, on the back end, booking a sales call to explore further and end up working with them as a client.
That's awesome, bro. Yeah, I feel like you have to have patience in the process, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to go. I think the biggest mistake people make when they first start with cold email is they go for the kill shot, right? With
Yeah.
that email and they try to sign the first client like literally through the email, and that just never works. You have to first get
Never
them on the
does.
call, and then the actual call process is so important as well. So talk about that as well. What does the sales process look like for you through cold email? Like what have the results been like? I think the cool thing I've seen at least from cold email is that a lot of the guys that come through they're qualified, right? Because
Yeah.
they're really narrowly targeted using tools like ListKit. And so what's your experience been with like the quality of sales calls that you're having?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, my process looks a little bit different now, but I still have a very basic framework that I try to follow. And guys like David and Client Ascension, sales coach, have helped me so much in my process, and my closing rates have increased. But basically what I do is, I get them on a call, and like I said, everyone's time is valuable. So I just make it very clear that I'm not there to waste their time, and I'm there to, learn more about their business and actually see if we can help them, because we can't help everybody, and that's just the nature of business. But if we can help them, we'll kind of explain our process and see if it's a fit. If we can't, we try to defer them to either someone in my network or partners network that may be a better fit for them, or just give them value until they're ready to buy. But once they're, we've identified them as a fit, and we go through our process. We just talk about, some timelines, some deliverables. If there's any objections, we handle those. But the biggest thing with cold email, if you're scaling your agency or if you're just running a cold email lead generation agency, is like you can sell, yourself or the service as the case study, right? So if someone asks, how do I know this is going to work for me? Or like, well, you don't have any social proof, like, how does it work? Well, if you're gonna deliver lead generation for them through cold email, it's the exact same way you were able to get them on the phone, and they're busy and their time's valuable and they found it worth it to sit down with you and learn more. You're really going to be able to sell. I think, again, going back to that first client, that was one of the touching points, because he had a bad experience with an agency in the past. And obviously I was coming in, didn't have, much experience. Just being able to reassure him like, hey, this is the exact process that we followed to get you on the phone, and obviously your time's worth thousands of dollars. it's the exact same process we're going to use to generate leads for you. And that
Mhm.
client ended up working with us for a while, was a great gentleman, and just really worked out. But again, just being able to show the confidence that like, hey,
Yeah.
like this is the exact same thing that we do. We know it's going to work for you
That
is
yeah,
huge.
it's I call it like the congruency of using cold emails to sell a cold email service, right? It's like
Mhm.
when they question why this would work or how does it work, it's like, well, how did you get on the phone? I sent you an email. You
Exactly.
didn't know who I was. You read the email. You were intrigued enough to then go and book a call. That's exactly what we do for you to your ideal clients. How does that sound? And then they're thinking like, oh yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense because they were in the same scenario themselves, so they can actually understand it. So yeah, we always use kind of that framework and perspective to explain to people on the phone like how cold email works and would work for them. And so I'm happy to hear you found success in that as well. What are some results you've seen, even just for your clients, right? Because you run a cold email lead gen agency now to
Mhm.
this day, and I know you get some pretty fire results. So, what are some results that you're really proud about just since starting the agency, whether it's hooking up your clients with some pretty big retainer deals or just generating a bunch of calls booked in a single month? Like, what are some of your highlighted wins for your cold email lead generation agency clients?
Yeah. So I'd say the first one that comes to my mind is the fact that, if you can get a good client, you can really crush for them. So we had a client actually down there in Tampa that was doing pretty good, but they wanted to, get more out of their cold email. So they came to us. We tweaked a couple of things. We're able to put an infrastructure in place. And in the first month, we got them, 25 booked meetings. And I'm not sure how many of those closed. We're still going through all that information. But like, again, it was just a huge win. It was like every single day there was call book, call book, call book, to the point where he was the CEO taking a bit of these intros, or he had to, kind of defer them. So that's always a good problem to have. Another one is a client of ours, mutual client of ours. We worked with them, and they, liked us so much that they actually gave us another one of their companies and said, hey, have at it. Like, we like you guys. We want to work with you on our other companies as well. So kind of like a little referral there within just the same partnership, two clients in one. So that was another big one that we have, and those are the clients that we ultimately want, because that means they're successful. They have multiple companies and they see the value in the service, and obviously the value and the expertise and level of service that our agency brings as well.
I love that, bro. Yeah, keep crushing it for your clients. I mean, you're offering a service that, again, like this is something that we planted the seed for a long time ago and really do believe in wholeheartedly. Like cold email is such an effective way to help these businesses grow. And there's a lot of skepticism around it just because really people just don't understand it and they don't have experience with it. And if they did, they either got burned by an agency that was uneducated and wasn't doing a good job with the service. But if you find the right agency, like someone like Isaac, and the right communities, like what we have with Cold Email Mastery and ListKit and Client Ascension, like it's really hard to mess it up, right? Like I've seen every single day in the wins channels and just with people within our community getting clients and pretty big wins within their business all through cold email, which is cool. One last thing I want to touch on, Isaac, is just kind of like the effectiveness of using a tool like ListKit to run an agency. Because when we first started our agency, we were using Apollo and some other verification tools, and it was just such a rigorous process to build the leads list, then verify the leads list, and go back to the original tool to get more leads because only so many came back verified. Like, what does that process look like for you? Because I'm pretty sure, like, because you came through our programs, you might not even have experienced that painful process in Apollo. You just went straight to using ListKit. So, how's the experience been using a tool like that? And what's that been like with your agency building leads lists for multiple clients at the same time?
Man, it's been, to touch on the point you just said, a time saver and a lifesaver, and ultimately a money saver, right? Like, people don't really understand that, okay, yeah, you may have a cheap software you can go scrape leads from, but those leads aren't going to be verified. You're going to have to go pay, another $100 for another tool just to verify it. You can only take so much at a time. And even then, there still might be some that fall through the cracks. So when I use ListKit, I can go on, or my lead list builder can go on there, build out, criteria and filter based on the type of clients or our clients want to work with and that we can send these emails to. Within 15 minutes, have a filter out, scrape, and automated to go right into our sending tool, versus, me spending 3 hours and probably, three, 400 more dollars actually going manually trying to scrape it and then not getting, the proper data. And then another thing with ListKit is like they're always iterating, they're always making the product better. Like literally today, they just rolled out intent data, which is huge for us that guys like us that do a lot of volume and we're really trying to target that right and ideal client for ourselves and our clients. So it's been massive, right? Like I don't really know if Apollo ever updates their stuff or other companies go to that level of service to, make the product better. But, ListKit, they could probably be making way more than they are, but they actually want to be around for a long time and serve their clients and have a good product. So I can't recommend it more, especially if you're trying to save time and you're trying to, get the best bang for your buck as far as sending cold emails and getting data that you pay for ultimately, which has been awesome.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that experience with us. I think the cool thing about ListKit, to your point, is like the ROI, right? I think everyone, for whatever reason, I think it's just in our space and money Twitter, we're also used to like just getting like the best deals and kind of like hacking our way to success. And
Yeah,
so people kind of opt for like the cheapest options. But when the cheapest option really does, like handicap you in the marketplace as a service provider by not giving you the competitive
100%.
advantage with quality verified data, then you're actually doing yourself and your clients a disservice. And so by electing a more premium tool like ListKit that's slightly more expensive, to your point, I think it's actually still cheaper
It's
to
still
use
cheap.
ListKit.
Yeah,
Like if you're not if you're factoring in like the verification tools and all the other steps in the process you'd have to do using a competitor like Apollo or whatnot, it actually ends up being cheaper still. And you're paying for quality, right? And then if you zoom out and do a calculation of like the ROI, like how much of an ROI are you seeing from paying $97 a month to get 2,000 leads from ListKit? Like, what can you do with 2,000 triple verified leads in a cold email campaign? Like, you'd be hard pressed not to generate more than $97 from that.
exactly,
And so
exactly.
people just got to, I always say, like in business, I've been doing this for 3, 4 years, and we have multiple companies now that we're spending over 300, $400,000 a month on team and expenses. Like, man,
Mhm.
like I always say, like the worst thing you can do is cheap out. Like, you have to be willing to pay a premium to get premium results. And I think that's where a lot of people are missing out. But
Exactly.
anything else to speak on, Isaac, in regards to using ListKit or just cold email in general, strategy wise, or just learning from the different courses you've gotten access to?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is just if anyone's watching or is interested in, what ListKit is or even client ascension is understand that like as a business owner, even when you're starting, like you can either pay with time or you can pay with money. So you may think you're saving a little bit of money on the front end by going with these cheaper options, but what you're really doing is just delaying your success and you end up paying more money in the long run. And then if someone's paying you to carry out a service for them, you can't deliver because you decided to go with a cheaper option, they're just going to leave, right? So it's basic economics, but the opportunity cost of, getting a good product like ListKit or joining a great group of guys, over 200 agency owners that are scaling their agencies every single day and hitting the results that they ultimately wanted to hit when they got started and just being in a community of people that are supportive and want to see each other win is huge because you also have coaches and leaders that are doing 7, 8 figures every single year. And it's like, okay, you can either learn or use products that are going to delay you, or you can just pay a little bit extra. And I promise you, you're going to be much more happy with one, the ROI, but two, the fact that you just shortcutted your way to success, especially in a competitive market. You really need those guys, those products that are on the cutting edge and they're going to get you to where you want to be.
Awesome, bro. Thank you, Isaac, for spending some time with us here today and sharing a little bit more about your experience and your journey to get to this point. I'm excited to see in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months where you're at with your clients and your cold email legion agency. I can see a pretty bright future for you. And it's so cool to me still that you're in college and balancing all this business success with just enjoying the time there at university playing soccer and whatnot. So, last question I have for you is where can our audience find you and follow you online? Because I know we have a lot of up and coming talented entrepreneurs here listening, and you're definitely someone that they can learn a lot from on just how to balance, obviously growing up and still being in school and whatnot to do all the things you've done.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, I'd say the first place where I post a lot of my content and you can just reach out to me and see kind of what we do, what our agency does, is Twitter X at Isaac Caulfield. Follow me there, check out our agency. And then also have a YouTube channel. You search up Isaac Caulfield. I've got some great content and stuff you can implement there, and then LinkedIn as well at Isaac Caulfield. If you want to check it out.
Awesome. Well, dude, thank you again, Isaac. I appreciate your time. And we'll catch you all on the next one. If you guys are interested in triple verified email leads and mobile phone numbers, you can go to listkit.io. And then from there, you'll also have access to all the education that Isaac was referencing throughout this interview. You'll get access to book a one-on-one onboarding call with our team, who will help you through the entire list building process. And then from there, be able to successfully launch your cold email campaigns and start seeing some results. So let us know in the comments below your experience using ListKit. And if you have any questions, you know where to find us. Thanks. And until next time, peace.
Awesome. Thanks, Andre.